Punisher versus Red Hood, two gun-toting vigilantes who have no problem with putting down criminals. And today, well, they're going at it against each other. But in the ultimate battle between the two, well, who's going to be coming out on top? Let's get into it. Lieutenant Frank Castle returned home from duty, only to see his wife and children murdered in front of him in cold blood by the mafia. Unable to find justice by any fair means for them, Castle vowed to spend the rest of his life avenging them. Now equipped with state-of-the-art weapons, decades of combat experience, guerrilla and urban warfare techniques, he wages a one-man war against crime as the Punisher, a murderous vigilante that takes no prisoners, constantly putting him at odds with other heroes around him. Punisher has trained himself into peak physical condition. He's way strong, way tough, and surprisingly fast too. Like Frank might still be just a normal human, but he's strong enough to overpower multiple men at once and even snap metal with just his pure brute strength. The Punisher has even straight up punched a polar bear square in the face. Apparently he's got no problem with animal cruelty. Punisher is also very fast enough to contend in fights with some of the best Marvel street tiers out there and dodge their attacks. Like I'm talking Wolverine, Daredevil, Captain America, or Spider-Man, dodging attacks from all of them. Frank is also very fast on the draw too, like clearly raising his rifle into position in the same time as lightning is striking the ground. Literally, undeniably moving at the same speed as lightning. But probably the best thing going for Punisher is the man is tough. He is very tough. Like if there's one thing you need to know about Frank, it's that the man can take a beating. He's also always wearing some pretty great armor too. Armor that's protected him from some low-grade explosions, electric blast, or lots and lots of bullets. And the kicker is that nothing is going to stop the Punisher from completing his mission. He's kept on going for days on end. He can completely ignore a whole lot of pain and punishment, and ultimately is just a very hard man to put down. And on top of that, well, Frank Castle is a one-man army. He can more than hold his own in a fight. He knows a whole lot of different fighting techniques and is proficient in many different forms of martial arts. Punisher is absolutely no problem taking down multiple trained men at once, fighting whole groups of people all by himself, or battling against a lot of the best fighters in Marvel. Like Punisher has fought against the likes of Daredevil, Wolverine, Black Widow, Deadpool, and plenty more. He's either beaten them in the fight or gone down swinging and made life very difficult for some of the most skilled combatants on Earth. And the one thing that makes Punisher different from almost any other guy out there is that he has absolutely no problem with guns or killing. Frank is a lethal shot. He's one of the most accurate men in the whole world, can land headshots like it's nothing, and Punisher is so good with a gun in his hand that he's able to accurately hit Spider-Man as Spider-Man is dodging around. Between his skill, his weapons, and Frank's years of experience, well, the Punisher is the last person you want to run across if you're a criminal. He's putting you down for sure. Jason Todd was the second Robin. That is, until he was brutally murdered by the Joker. However, like all deaths in comics, that didn't last for forever. And after he was resurrected, well, Jason learned that Batman didn't avenge his death and killed the Joker. Hurt and betrayed, Jason turned against Batman and his adopted father, taking on the Joker's old identity, the Red Hood. However, he eventually made his way back to the Bat family. He even created his own team of anti-heroes, the Outlaws. Because of his intense training from Batman, Jason was honed into the pinnacle of human potential, just like basically every other member of the Bat family out there. Jason is regularly sending people flying with each attack he lands. Even dudes like Deathstroke. Red Hood isn't even above legit flipping people over his head, even if they weigh hundreds of pounds. Then of course, there's stuff like holding up a collapsing roof for a while during a fire, kicking the door off an airplane when the plane is up in the air, or even punching through the hull of a submarine while underwater. Those are like some superhuman strength feats right there. Red Hood is definitely skirting the realm of super soldier, if you don't want to put him there already. He's also exceptionally tough too. I mean, his armor and helmet are both already completely bulletproof, and that's just scratching the surface. Red Hood is often able to take most attacks no problem. I'm talking attacks from superhumans, massive explosions. Jason has even been near nuclear explosions before. Now, I have no idea how this guy legit survived nukes. I really don't even know how close Jason was to the nukes to begin with. But he did it, so I guess we gotta include it. Finally, when it comes to physicality, Red Hood is plenty fast and agile. He's regularly able to dodge any attack that's coming his way. And of course, I'm not just talking punches or kicks. He's regularly able to dodge bullets and gunfire coming his way, even bullets from master shots and marksmen, or bullets from legitimately point-blank range. He can take down people with super speed. Even Supergirl is impressed with his speed, agility, and grace. But probably the most impressive thing that Red Hood has going for him is his skill and fighting ability. I mean, for starters, the guy was trained by none other than Batman himself, one of the world's best fighters, maybe the world's best fighter. But then Red Hood had to go and be killed by the Joker. After his resurrection though, well, he traced back Batman's training before Bruce became Batman. He trained with some of the deadliest and most skilled assassins and fighters in the world. That was all after he had already been trained by Batman, who had already been trained by a lot of the same skilled assassins and fighters. So technically, Jason learned from all these people 2 times over. And the second time, well, he didn't have any of the moral restrictions or no killing rule that was placed on him by Batman. And all this skill definitely shows up in Red Hood's fights. I mean, Red Hood has regularly take down whole groups of people all by himself. No problem whatsoever. And it's not just no-name thugs either. Jason's even been able to take down whole groups of superhuman assassins before, and done that several times over. He's gotten the upper hand over Batman himself before, a few different times actually. He's beaten Cassandra Cain, beaten Deathstroke, beaten Lady Shiva, he's even beaten a godly possessed Ra's al Ghul before. And unlike every other member of the Bat family, Red Hood has no problem with killing or carrying guns around and using them. And he's both incredibly accurate and has some of the most powerful handguns known to man. He's regularly been able to pierce right through bulletproof armor with no problem. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, these two anti-heroes have no problem going all out and going for the kill in any fight, so it'll be a bloody and brutal fight for sure. Problem for Frank is that him going up against Jason, well, he's just straight outclassed in a lot of ways. The best you can argue for Punisher is that he's the better shot, which he is, and he's arguably tougher and got more experience. But Red Hood's better armor kinda negates that, and experience might even be debatable if you count Jason's Robin years. Outside of that, well, Red Hood is stronger, he's faster, and he's the better fighter. Now, that's not trying to take anything away from Frank. He's actually got some really impressive strength feats. But if I had to give the edge to someone in that area, it would be Jason. He's in his prime, he's just consistently showing off slightly better strength feats. Now, speed is no question. While Punisher is lightning fast on the draw, and I mean that quite literally. He just can't compete with Red Hood when it comes to movement speed and dodging bullets and everything like that. Edge, again, goes to Red Hood. And then as for combat skill and fighting ability, I think it's pretty obviously going to Red Hood. He was hand-trained by Batman, by Lady Shiva, by the League of Assassins. He basically went through the same training that Bruce did in order to become Batman, and then did it again. Except the second time around, he learned all the lethal killing stuff. Jason is an incredibly skilled and dangerous fighter. He's actually one of the more dangerous fighters in DC, even beating a weakened Deathstroke. Not that Punisher isn't a great fighter on his own. He's tussled with Daredevil enough times to prove that he can hold his own against almost anyone. But even still, being trained by Batman and the All-Cast and the League of Assassins is on a whole other level. Red Hood definitely has more skill, and regularly being able to fight pretty much on par with Batman and Nightwing is enough to say that he can outclass Punisher. Heck, Jason's even gotten one over and beaten Lady Shiva before. Really, the main two ways that I see Punisher winning here is if he manages to get a shot off before Red Hood can make it a close range fight. Totally possible. He's an amazing shot and has regularly tagged Spider-Man. But he's got to be going for the kill and hoping it can get past Jason's bulletproof armor. Other option is to say that Punisher has time to prepare beforehand, because this is when we enter his domain. If he knows his enemy, knows their strengths and weaknesses, knows the terrain, and has time to prepare, Punisher is a very, very scary opponent. It could definitely take Red Hood out. But pretty much every other way, Red Hood is winning. He's physically better, the better fighter, has the better training, has the better gear, and he'd be the one coming out on top. Red Hood wins.